Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on your Sunday for the first episode of ProInsight. Today, our guest is a very, very special dancer and actress, Matangi Ma'am. So, to start off, I'll just give a small introduction about myself and the Teen Tribune, and then we'll get into things. Hello, my name is Raisha. I'm the founder and editor in chief at the Teen Tribune. The Teen Tribune is a weekly newspaper, and where we talk about politics, business, lifestyle, and everything that a newspaper can cover and more. And we do it with a slight twist of an adolescent voice because that's just such a diverse demographic to tap into. And so far, we've published about 55 issues. Today, our 56th issue goes up. And we've got a large and great team, and recently published our first issue of the Teen Tribune France as well. So we're really excited to be launching this new series called Pro Insight, and and now Harini will be explaining a little bit more about it.
Hi, so I'm Harini, and I'm a columnist at the Teen Tribune, and I write about mainly what's called as the woke issues or socio-politic issues, and I'm also a freshman in computer science and engineering at the Best University. And Pro Insight was something that we all had on our mind for quite some time, and thanks to the Teen Tribune, we could bring that to a reality. So what it essentially is, it's a platform, right, where teenagers can gain professional insights about careers from experts of diverse fields. And we hope to make this series a place where we can share accurate information to our viewers and help them make informed choices. That will help them a lot in their educational as well as their career. And today, on the first episode of Pro Insight, we have Miss Matangi Prasan. And so I'll give a quick introduction about our mentor today. So, Matangi Prasan is an Indian classical dancer, a performer, a choreographer, a creative ideator, an actor, and a teacher. She is well known for her unique choreography with thought provoking narratives and innovative movement and vocabulary. Both energetic and sprightly in her performance, Matangi has to credit over 500 performances, both national and international platforms. Director for the Institute Matangi Nitya Kshetra, Matangi has attempted in creating choreographies for children by creating performances from the Panchatantra and female historical figures as well as from science textbooks. She has ventured into the field of acting and has played a lead role in many movies, predominantly in the Kannada movie industry. And what sets Matangi apart from the other professional artists is her fervent passion for the Indian martial arts as well as her creative endeavors. And
Thank
yes.
you. I'm so excited to have a chat with all of you. I wish I had such options when I was much younger, but I'm so impressed by all of your efforts. My best wishes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And we're so excited to have you. And just listening to that introduction already has made me also so much more excited. It's
I know. Yes. Let's do this.
um,
Yes.
yes.
Sure.
Just to remind our audience that if they have any questions for Matangi ma'am while we are going along with it, you can just put it in the live option in the YouTube live, and we'll definitely take them so that this can be as interactive and informative a session as possible.
Sure. So let's dive right in. Ma'am, the first question that we have for you is if you could guide us through a day in your life and walk us through that, it will be great. I'm
Okay,
sure.
now before you all ask, what are you seeking through this interview is my question. So then I'll have a clearer idea as to, I don't want to keep it too long, so I'll speak to the point. So can you tell me what are you seeking through this interview?
Yeah, so we want to share accurate information as from
About how, as a career in dance, how is it going
right.
to be?
Yes.
Got it.
And also
So,
the pathway to getting there.
right. Great. So, every day will never be the same, but that is the ideal goal. Okay. To have that discipline and to have that, when you have a regular job, you have to wake up, you can do your exercises, have your breakfast, shower, and go to your office, come back, chill. That's your regular routine. But artists don't have that. We don't have that luxury because we are actually doing multiple professions. Okay, I am my own Uber driver, I am my own uh, Photoshop person, I'm my own publicity person. I have to do everything by myself. And all of this is very demanding. I have to apply for administrator unane, the fees collector unane. You're understanding, so we play a lot of different roles. And our job, if we have to say, requires a lot of multidisciplinary training. In the sense, we have, first is the body, right? We have to keep our body fit, so definitely there is exercise that involves. Second thing is our body training for performance, which is the skill of Bharatanatyam. So we train ourselves in that. And then number three will be studying for content, because you have to be creative, right? And you have to update yourself with different kinds of techniques in body, or different kinds of stories, the mythology. It's so vast. So studying that, or studying dance history. There's so many disciplines that you have to train yourself in. So no one day is same, actually. However, the goal is to have this timetable. All artists have this. Okay, we will have this chair, our Excel sheet. Only all of us will have, like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We will have like a set thing. But if there's one thing that we will definitely not miss, is something called a riyaz, which is doing something very specific every day. It can be meditation, it can be yoga, it can be martial art, it can be something devoted. And that's going to be for, say, the first 1 hour as soon as you wake up. That discipline will be there throughout our life, at least, because that's what will actually help us plan the rest of the day. So that 1 hour will be same, then each day is different.
Yeah, that actually sounds really great, because it's a life skill you can apply in every aspect of your life,
Yeah.
not just art,
Yeah,
having
not just
some sort
art.
of discipline.
Yes, that 1 hour can be anything, and different people have different things. My friend has reading, another friend has listening to music for 1 hour as soon as she wakes up. I do a bit of meditation and a bit of yoga, or my martial art practice. Like, everybody has a different riyas in the morning, which need not be dancing, because dancing
Right.
also at the end of the day comes under work.
Right.
So this is a very personal practice that people have to try and arrive at.
So actually, because you said that, just a quick question that popped up in my head, that you said, dancing is also work. So does that kind of transform the way you look at dancing
Yeah.
now as how you did earlier,
Yes,
maybe?
absolutely. That change. This is something I want to mention and stress, like underline it, because when I was younger, dancing was along with my studies. So dance was a lot of fun and enjoying and everything. But suddenly, when you take it up as a profession, it becomes target oriented. Like, you have to do these many performances, you have to be in shape, you have to argue with them. They will say it's okay, you don't
Right.
have to be, you can be all relaxed and not worry. But I mean, come on, we are living in
Right.
this world, and I will be lying if I say I don't feel pressurized. And I don't feel like, I've had moments where I felt like, why is dance feeling like work when it
Right.
shouldn't be? But having said that, it's better to have dance as work than having something else as work. You know,
Right.
I'd rather have this as work than something else. It's like
So
a
that
trade-off.
element of passion is still there, but now it's little subdued, maybe.
Yes, absolutely. So we can't only do passionate things. There are things that we have to do for work.
True.
So that's a compromise.
So can you tell me a little bit about, like, the shift, like, initially, how in your teenage, how it was, and how you got here, and what that path looked like.
Okay, so when I was in my teenage, for me to be a dancer and artist was a dream. I remember I watched this film when I was in ninth standard called Center Stage, and I'm from a small town called Kalpakam, where
Yeah.
everybody is like all scientist ke children, and they all know what is, like, you finish your second
Right.
standard exam today, and you have 10 days holidays. They will start third standard the same day. So, like,
Okay.
full nerd center.
Yeah, got
Okay.
it.
Most of my classmates are in IITs, NITs. That's the goal in life. And I was like fish out of water there. Okay, like, what is this? I want to be, and I used to daydream about being a dancer. And it became a reality. I think I'm very grateful to my parents. They did the right move, which is moving me to Bangalore and not enrolling me into any of these science streams. I took up commerce. which gave me a lot of time to focus on dancing
Mhm.
during those years. So my childhood was all about dreaming to be an artist and learning, being part of, see, because our learning is, it's never considered like a professional path. I'm sure it's changed a little bit now, but not that much also.
Mhm.
Still, a professional is like you are an engineer, doctor, or one of these media streams now. That is also
Right.
considered a little professional. But performing is still not considered that much of a professional stream. So um, there was a lot of battle, but I think my parents made a very good choice of enrolling me into commerce and moving me to Bangalore. And I met good teachers who actually gave me platforms to explore and perform. I joined a college that was also encouraging. I in fact took up a college because the brochure had a dancer in the front page.
Right.
So all my decisions in life have been around, okay, where can I dance? It's like I know I have to study,
Right.
but can I also please dance? you know, it's been like that. And I've been very lucky. I took up a job after I finished college. I was working in Deloitte for about a year and a half. And then I had plans to study MBA. I gave my CAT. All of that happened. But between my CAT results and when I wrote my exam for CAT, in those 3 months, my dancing career flourished. As in, I was working with two dance companies in Bangalore, and they were all touring to different countries, and I was like, this
Right.
is dream, you know. So I thought I must take that opportunity, and I've not looked back ever since then. So that's been my transition to take up. It's a risk that I took for a year, and it was good for me.
Right. Yeah. That does sound like a flow, but then there's also peaks and
Yes,
crests.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
growth
see,
curve at the
I
end.
think to arrive at that, to quit a job that actually pays you well and to come back is not. Today it's okay, but I think when I was younger, it wasn't that much, yeah, that easy. It was still like, why would you? And remember, I didn't quit to pursue dance. I quit to study MBA. So that was the
Right.
reason I gave. It's just that I pursued dancing in that time and it clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I want to say is that I always wanted to be who I am today. I dreamed of being who I am today, but my actions were not always directed towards, yeah, I'm going to be that, so I'm going to. I wish I had done all of that, today. Like, I wish I was very clear that no, I'm going to be pursuing dance, so I'm not going to study commerce and all. Why I'll study?
Hmm.
ಏನಕ್ಕೆ BCom ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? Like, it's like AR Rahman is now studying engineering. No, not
Hmm.
required. He could have studied. You can study music all the
Music.
time.
Yeah.
I always feel like I wish I invested a lot more time in studying something that sort of helps in my dance,
Mhm.
rather than studying something entirely not related to dance. Despite knowing that, but everybody does that. It exists even today, where their goal is to be a dancer, but they'll feel like I need to do a backup. Backup in life is to do engineering, or backup in life to do BCom, and I think that's really wrong. But I also come from a place of understanding, because financial security is a question mark in this field. So I understand, but if you have the luxury to actually pursue something for which helps in your dancing career, do
Mhm.
that. Don't want this backup option.
Right, definitely. And with this backup like mentality, do you think there are steps that we as a society can take towards kind of removing this ideology of having a backup always?
I have to. All of y'all not can choose to not do the backup, but you should understand why people are choosing this backup, because ultimately all our goals in life is accumulation of wealth. They'll put you in that box, and now when you're in that box,
Yeah.
you will be worried, saying, okay, will dancing actually give me all the luxury that I am seeking through my regular job? I want to say it's very difficult. It's possible, but it's very difficult and involves a lot of compromise of the passion factor. Okay, so who can actually, you have to be very privileged, where your parents have taken care of your future financial requirements. At that time you can say, okay, I'm going to not pursue these things. um but I don't want to sound like this also. See, like I mentioned, pursuing performing as a career will not give you financial security, but pursuing teaching as a career, teaching dance as a career, will give you financial security. So the earlier you start building your school from the beginning, then of course you're sorted, you know.
Right. There's always a safer option even in the risk.
Yes. Now I want to mention here, am I okay? Can I continue what I'm saying?
Sure,
Please,
sure,
please, of
please.
course.
Yeah. So there are multiple disciplines in dancing itself that is available for generation, like the younger generation. One is that you can be a production manager. You know, you can actually be under different dances. You can be social media managers for artists. They really need that. You
Mhm.
know, you can become. There are other disciplines around dancing that younger people can start off early. You know, like if you look at films,
Hmm.
most actors who don't come from good financial backgrounds, they usually become ads. They start working in set from very young age. So
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
when they're older, they know, acha, if I have to do this, then I have to do that, and that they already know. So my advice would be, see, if you want to be a performer or start doing things around dancing along with your main thing, if you have, do other things like this around dance itself. So when you want to make that choice, you will be more empowered with
Right.
knowledge. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Ma'am, now diving into more of the future. So, what would be, your future goals now that you've accomplished so much and you've, had a full entire experience of going through so many different things? How has that shaped your plans for future
My future.
and your future aspirations?
Actually, I've had a very strange career shift very recently, which is jumping into films. This
Mm.
was never part of the plan. And like I said, so I'm someone who likes to be challenged always. You know, I want to be in an uncomfortable zone, and that comforts me. If you get what I mean, like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like this weird balance where you know only half the thing, you don't know the other half, and you have to really figure it out.
Yeah, the excitement.
Right.
You know, yeah,
Pursuing
and
something.
yeah. So performing dance for about 10 years gave me that knowledge of the field,
Hmm.
knowledge of the industry. But I was also made to aware towards the end about the complex history that this art form carries. You know, the kind of violence that happened to women who were dancing in temples, and how they were banned from performing, and dance, the dance, were taken away from their bodies and put in our bodies. You know, that transition sort of shook my faith in the way dance is taught today, to be very honest. How it is passed on has a lot of questionable methods. And to challenge that, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, and it happens step by step. Right, even the violence happened very planned way, you know, or I
Right.
don't want to use the violence might be very strong, but it is at the end of the day
Yeah.
a kind of violence. But
Right.
it was a political move anta helbodu, or it was a necessity at that time, because India was undergoing this nationalist movement or whatever that happened at that time when the abolishment of Devadasi Act happened. The art form actually was sanitized, was taken away from one form and given it to another form, was given a very respectable identity, which all of it is true. Okay, I think this art form is very beautiful and can transform people's lives, and I strongly believe in that. It's just that the way it grows after a certain level is not correct, and the way it is taught, and I think the amount of patriarchy that exists in Bharatanatyam, you know, like this
Right.
girl is always dressing up for her lover and waiting and longing.
Hmm.
And like I keep asking this, so I'm a single woman, and I find I'm like, in mythology, where is this character? Like there is the all characters are all full aspiring for marriage, and
Yeah.
you
Where
know.
am I?
Always
Exactly.
lovelorn.
So I'm looking for my representation in these stories. I'm sure there are, but they're not
Hmm.
in popular narratives. They're not in mainstream Bharatanatyam, you know.
Right.
And even in so the kind of training, you know, we are all taught. Like I know I was taught to smile correctly, like feel shy, like this. Adala full like,
Right.
and I fit into that, you know, like how, you know, to do this hair and
Yeah,
like
Express
the
it in a certain
singar
way.
is which is beautiful. I'm not denying it. It gives me a lot of power, and the idea of speaking about uniting and being with my lover and all of that gave me a lot of outlet for my desires as a teenager and growing up, because otherwise women don't have places to explore these
right.
things.
Hmm.
So in that sense, it was good, but it was only that. I was not, and I needed more, you know. So I think in 2020, when I was already looking, I had already phased out. I was like, is this all? I reached that point. I'm sure there's a lot. Like, I'm sure I can perform in some great performances and I can create some great perform. But the core of this art form was it was not clear for me. So
Mm,
2020 I invested and I spent some time learning, working with a senior mentor called Priya Srinivasan. She did a course about how to critically look at Bharatanatyam,
right.
not blindly look at Bharatanatyam, because the way this art form is taught, it expects submission, it expects blind faith on whatever your teacher is saying. But I was looking
Right.
at, my classes are more open. My children have the freedom to question me, saying, "Ma'am, why like this? Ma'am, why not like that? Ma'am, I don't want to do like that." And I'll be like, "Okay, do however you want."
Mm,
Because art at the end of the day has to be a form of expression. Now, when I reached this whole confusion state, I was looking for a different alternative career option. And I saw acting as a very an interesting opportunity, and it was something I always liked from when I was small. But I didn't get enough encouragement at home, or they also are clueless people. I'm fish or a water
right.
ball. They're like, "You what to do with this girl only?" They're also figuring out what to do with me. So, but I have a very loving family. Having said that, whatever I want to do, they will support me. But it's just that it has been a journey for them also. First they'll be like,
Right.
"Why do you like this?" And then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, Parva. Okay, let's see."
One try.
Yeah, one try. Yeah, and so they are also been trying with me. So I'm venturing into acting as well right now, and I'm looking at doing a bit of both, a bit of changing the way Bharatanatyam is taught and performed, and sort of exploring my career as an actor. And let's see how it goes. So, my future currently is looking at creating a lot of feminist work in Bharatanatyam, which is going to be very difficult because it's so seeped in the patriarchy in the art form. It's very hard for me to create anything outside of it.
Hmm.
But I'm going to try because I love Bharatanatyam. It's my mother tongue. It's the language that I identify myself with. So that is one thing. I'm going to use that art form to express myself, poems that resonate with me, and um, work on children bodies. It gives me a lot of joy to work with children, and I have a lot of little kids, and it's super fun to work with them because there is also very little children's content in Bharatanatyam. It's
Right.
mostly either bhakti, which is very difficult for kids to understand.
Hmm.
Again, they only learn to imitate; they don't understand the art.
Right.
So I think the focus has to be to make sure they understand the art form and the content separately.
Hmm.
So I'm going to work on that. Secondly, I'm going to look for more opportunities in acting and hoping more doors open in that area. And I venture into doing more web series and films. I'm currently shooting for a web series. I'm hoping
That's
that,
amazing.
yeah, it's an Amazon original. So I'm quite excited for that. And after that, I'm hoping more doors open and I can
Right.
explore myself as an artist.
Yeah, I think that sounds amazing. And, we all, I mean, the whole feminist dance already, we're
Energy.
like,
Yeah.
yes, queen, go.
Yes, we have to do this, right?
Yeah.
Actually. And, just to segue into film in particular, how has that outlet of feminism as such been in film?
Very hard,
Yeah.
very hard. See, at least in dancing, I at the end of the day, when I finish a performance, I feel so strong. Yeah, the content in Bharatanatyam is quite patriarchal, but the field of Bharatanatyam mostly has women,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
and not necessarily feminist women, but okay. Andre, I won't say it's easy to navigate, but it's possible.
Right.
And also because I have this really solid backing of training for 25, 26 years.
Hmm.
I can tell them, look, I'm trained and I have done this whole regular thing of performing in multiple places. There is this idea of you have to prove yourself as an artist. No, like, no, I'm good. I
Right.
can
Yeah.
sit in Aramandi. I can dance for so many hours. I can
Yeah.
do this. I finished doing that.
Hmm.
And so I can make this choice today, saying, no, I've done my portion. I'm trained and I have the knowledge. But acting is not merit based in that sense.
Mm.
It is purely on luck, on multiple ways. Yeah, I've had a lot of times where people just call me and say, you have to sort of compromise for the role, and it's there. I don't want to deny it. So it's very hard as a feminist to be in that field. Let's see. I just hope things are changing. Like, there are a lot of younger people like you. There is an audience for
Right.
feminist content. Earlier, I feel like feminist content didn't exist because there was fear and there was no audience. Because at the end of the day, our audience decides everything for us.
Yeah.
True.
Right. And if there are more of us, there will be a lot more
Yes.
feminist
Yeah.
content. Like, look at how 2020 changed a lot of films that we are watching. Right. We
Right.
don't watch mass masala movies. I mean, we do that by keeping our brains aside, but we also love to watch movies that sort of,
Make you
you know,
think.
It's more
leaves us
nuanced. Yeah.
more nuanced, and which has some very
Thought
personal
provoking.
stories and not always this windily flying hair and things like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think the times are changing, so I'm looking forward to creating a lot of good work in future, and continuing to learn, make
Right.
mistakes and figure and continue to learn.
Right. Just and one last thing about stepping into a field where you don't know much about it. So would you say to anyone who is entering dance to actually say change things that first they need to do the traditional and then break away, or can they start with like a bang, if that makes sense?
That's a very good question. I myself feel like I started changing too soon. I've had moments where I felt like, if I had continued doing the same, without wanting to create change, if I had continued the same thing, probably I would have. No, actually, I'm quite happy with what the moment I changed. I wish I had. No, I think if people want to begin with change, find the right teachers, find the right
Hmm.
platforms. Don't be with teachers who don't encourage you to change. Don't be with teachers who don't value your ideas. Go find people. It's very difficult. Believe me, I have struggled quite a bit to find people who will give me a sense of direction. I'm most of the time figuring everything by myself.
Mhm.
But I know I have peers who are also figuring on their own
Right.
similar things.
Mhm.
That helps. Find your friends who are, doing similar things. So, you're not that alone. But if you want to create change, you have to accept that you're going to be alone at some point. And so in the dance field, especially, but it's not that hard now. There are a lot of us in my I know in our senior level there were not that many. They were like, "Hey, why are you changing?" and all. But I think Corona helped our industry, especially because we were always producing so much of content that was repetitive and nothing new. And Corona pushed us to actually look at, breaking out of that grandeur and becoming simpler,
Right.
taking topics that are more subtler, you
Mhm.
know. So
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thankful to a lot of my peers as well, and where the industry is today.
Mhm.
It's hard, but there are many people. So find the right mentors.
Right.
Right. I think yeah, that's wonderful advice. How do
And
we,
yeah,
yeah.
another question that commonly came up was how do you navigate with failures and when things don't work out? How do you put yourself through that? How do you cope with things that don't go your way?
Yeah. So that's very difficult, because to pursue an art form itself, you need a lot of this hata. What is hata in English?
Willpower. I'm guessing. I don't know.
But no, 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 zid.
Right.
Stubbornness.
stubborn. Yeah, you have to be really stubborn to pursue this art form because it's very taxing
Mhm.
physically. The
Right.
training, especially, is quite taxing.
Hmm.
And but that only gives you the adrenaline also inside. Like, you feel like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and sometimes it also gives you this joy because you would have forgot. It's not the same as working out in the gym. It's
Hmm.
not the same. But I can't I have never managed to actually express this entirely. It's slightly different. But so you're so used to achieving and like that, uh, you know,
That
it's
zeal.
there in the
The
training.
high. Yeah.
Yeah, that high and the fact of yes, I've done it.
Right.
You get what I mean? Like that,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
essence of
Satisfaction.
having done something comes to you.
Yeah.
So when you have failures, it's very hard to cope up. But my entire childhood has not been always good for me in the sense like I have, because I remember my initial years I had a very bad teacher. So I remember going to and I'm from a small town, so I went to this competition in Chennai, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm really bad. It was really bad. I froze on stage and I was looking at others and I was like, I can't forget that memory of mine because that was the first time I realized that I was not good. I love dancing, but I was not good. So again, grateful to my parents who found alternate teachers and who were good, who helped me improve in the skill of performing. And again, even when I moved to Bangalore, it's not like it was rosy for me. Everywhere I did, I
Right.
achieved. There were a lot of times that I didn't win competitions. I didn't win. I didn't make it to. I didn't get selected. And I
Hmm.
also, especially in acting, no, audition is so normal. Like every day, I'll be auditioning almost.
Right.
Okay, and getting not selected is normal. Okay,
Yeah.
getting selected is like one new thing. I'll be like, Appa, did I actually get selected?
Right.
Because like I said, I'm also starting off with no influence or no backing.
Right.
Okay, so I think I'm quite prepared to deal with failures. So I think it's hard, but it's also important because it helps you to say it's okay. There are times when I would have done like 2 3 auditions, not got some 3 auditions, I'll skip. I'll say I'm not doing, I'll skip. There is a little bit of guilt saying, would I have got if I tried that?
The chance.
Did I become too lazy ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. But you don't give up. You get up and you start going. But failure is part of an artist's life.
Right.
If you don't
That's
fail, you won't succeed. You will just remain.
And ma'am, lastly, the question that everybody wants to know, what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self after, being at this age and stage, going
Uh,
back?
I would say trust yourself more than you trust anybody else. I would say
Right.
that.
Hmm.
Believe in yourself more than you believe in anybody else. Listen to everyone, but find your own voice. The sooner you find, the more beautiful your life will be.
Wow,
Yes.
that's
I
I would
think
have said that to myself.
I think
Because,
that's
at
great.
that age, you're so influenced by others and you're like, huh,
Mm.
and
Right.
I wish I had listened to myself also. I was a very difficult student, to be very honest. My teachers, even to this day, Matangi means question mark, okay? Because I had a lot of questions. Why like this? So very inquisitive, I still am. I'm a very inquisitive person. I like to learn a lot and I want to figure things and understand more and more, go deeper. It gives me a sense of joy. And I don't like knowing 100 things. If you ask me to say, means how a car and all works, I don't know, some machine, whatever, it doesn't matter for me. But I like to know one thing really well.
hmm
And I've realized this about myself. So, you know, just follow your own thoughts and know that, you don't have to be, if someone says, don't seek approval from others, you approve yourself and peace out.
Yeah, I think that's great. And also just really getting to know yourself and what you want out of the dance form, as you said.
Yeah. And find the right people. That's very
Right.
important. Find the right platforms.
The
And
right
if
tribe.
you know that that's what you want to do, just do that.
Yeah.
That's all.
And do we have any questions from the audience? Harini, coming in.
Uh, right. So there's one question which says, how do you design your choreographies? What, drives your creativity?
That's a wonderful question. So, inspiration can be many things. Okay, inspiration can be a conversation that I had with you today, and I can take back something and say, oh my God, I can just explore 17-year-old me today out of that question. Okay, anything that gives me a there's a
Boost.
chord that will strike in your mind,
Mm.
that tan ಆಗುತ್ತದು. It does, and they sound barala, but that you will feel that. I've had that drives me a lot in terms of choreographies, and that is not a healthy way. I'm going to be honest, because then every time that ton will not come.
Hmm.
So there are times when that ton is not there, you're dependent on external sources. So, you will have a target. You will meet an organizer, and the organizer will say, hello, this is the topic, dance around this topic. So then I seek reading material and sort of put things together. There's music that helps. Any music that's very inspiring or moving, you can move to that music. That is also there. So these are the three main things I would say that inspire me to move and create.
Right. And ma'am, another question is, how do you stay relevant in today's world as a dancer? And
That is a very relevant to whom I would ask.
relevant to the dance form, I think. They haven't mentioned, but ma'am, you can take it in whichever tangent you want.
However I want.
Yeah.
So there is this whole idea that classical dance is not relevant at all.
Mm.
There's this whole narrative that always
Right.
goes that you're getting influenced by the West, so the our roots is
It's
not.
lame or whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's true. I have to actually ask my students who are or all of you, like, do you all have janta, like friends who feel like classical dance is lame, or
Okay, should I answer?
yeah, like you guys have to tell me, like, what is the scene of Bharatanatyam amongst. See, I am in Bharatanatyam, so everybody around me are like obsessed about dance and want to talk
Right.
about dance and love to dance. You guys have to tell me.
I would say you're right when you say that, like the influence of classical dance is very limited. There are still a lot of people who do it, like a lot of my friends, etc. But definitely the Western influence is really big. And like now it's like TikTok dances and fast content. So
Yeah, fast content to full pressurizing all of us. That's your genre. I'm to trying to keep up, ma. I'm to trying all the time. I said, okay, now I have to create 15-minute dances. Chalo.
Your Instagram page is amazing. The way you
Thank you. I'm
interact.
trying. Okay.
It's really nice.
you're doing it, ma'am. Don't worry.
That helps. But you guys tell me. So what is the general opinion of, a classical dancer amongst your friends?
I think it is definitely a niche. Like it's not the general population. We like Bollywood dance, hip hop, Western dance. Even when we look the like my friends or people I know who follow dancing, it's always like oh look at like Matt Steffanina or these kind of people who are these hip
Contemporary. Yeah.
hop influences. But it's not so much like within the general knowledge of teenagers to know, oh, these are the Bharatanatyam, like, superstars, or this
And
is what the industry really
yeah.
is.
Agreed, agreed.
And
What
I
about,
think it depends on the choreography also, right? Because
oh, yeah.
No,
the
yeah.
the
See, the
audience
thing
gets
is,
invested.
there's so much of uninteresting Bharatanatyam available.
Mm,
Like, because there's a lot of compromise. See, I'll tell you the reason why this happens is because Bharatanatyam is already given a status in the
Right.
public. Oh,
right.
Bharatanatyam looks like your goddess. Okay, simply.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They'll give off that. Anybody who'll wear Bharatanatyam costume with flowers and all this thing means it's like, oh, Bharatanatyam for you.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to criticize Bharatanatyam. And every time you insult or you speak bad about that art form, you are guilty already. You feel like, okay, you did a mistake because it's ingrained in you, because it's married to our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you understand, it's almost married to our country because it's a
Got it.
representation of Indian classical dance. Okay, so when I am wearing that costume and flower and everything, I'm actually representing India automatically. Not
Definitely.
when I wear Bindi also, I can not necessarily. Bindi is not. There is nothing. You shouldn't be limiting an art form to a country, but it is like that. You
Right.
understand? Because our government recognizes this as an Indian classical dance. So this dance is already given one status,
Right.
which is why there is a lot of uninteresting content. Because anyways, I know at the end of my performance I will get clapped. Allah.
Yeah.
So nobody is challenging the art form,
Right.
So I think that should be done. Like we should look at creating quality performances, and we have to look at giving people access to quality performances. you know the industry itself is not as big as the hip hop world or the other worlds.
Mm.
We are already a limited number of people because expensive to pursue classical dance is expensive. It's not
Right.
really affordable, and to perform classical dancing also requires certain aesthetics. Hip hop and the road allu ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ.
Yeah.
Sorry, can we do it? I like I said, I break into Kannada.
No, no, not a problem.
So that we should try to navigate that a little. We should
Mm.
take Bharatanatyam and simplify it, make it more reachable to today's not today's people only, whether old
Right.
people, young people, aunties, uncles, bacha log, anybody. Just create Bharatanatyam. Don't make isolate Bharatanatyam with people.
Right.
I think that is what is required to make Bharatanatyam more relevant. And I'm looking at working towards that. Every time I put any of my children perform, I look at making them not just doing. I see where they're performing and try to curate the performance that suits the audience.
Mm.
Sort of make it more child friendly if children are
Right.
performing, or make it more like more matured if it's for a matured audience.
Right.
Mm.
Like we have to sort of find this not package, present Bharatanatyam more differently.
Mhm.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
y'all can work on that. All of y'all should be working on that.
yeah, I think that's really clever actually. And like not just with Bharatanatyam, I just think with Indian culture in general,
Yeah,
like stereotypes run so deep that the only way
yeah,
you can separate it is by making it more accessible.
yes, I agree with you.
Relatable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the last question from the audience is can you give some details about your movies and the kind of movies that you want to, venture into?
So I'm a martial artist, okay? So I want to now do an action movie.
Like a
I want
Karate
to do
Kid.
like
Is that coming
proper,
up?
like come and do like come jump from the air and have gun and kick people and do full action movie. I want to do to be like this, Charlie's Angels kind of
Wow,
Hmm.
yeah.
movies. I want to do that because I'm training, so might as well. I mean, if you ask me to go into the ring, like go to the ring
Hmm.
and fight, I might not, because every time you go
Right.
to the ring, you'll really get injured, like
Hmm.
face,
Yeah.
body, and all. So much time you will take to recover. I have dancing career. I can't quit everything. So where I can, so that is something I like. I really enjoy martial arts. So
Okay.
that. Otherwise, I'm really looking at portraying realistic characters where I'm really challenged as an artist to
Mhm.
perform more, not just this pretty girl who's next door and like romancing with the hero, not just that, like something more. I don't know, maybe I'm a murderer, or I don't know.
Wow, ma'am, is that the first thing
No,
on your list?
I don't know, having gray shades, because I think humans are not
Hmm.
white, na. We're
Right.
all gray. So be
Definitely.
half good, half bad, have intentions, be realistic. That's what I mean. None of us are white, no.
Yes.
And I don't want to pretend that, I'm like this sadhu sant who has come from the
Yeah.
sky. It means even our sadhu sant were not white if you look at mythology. So, like, I'm just looking at working with female directors, working with stories that are written by women,
Mhm.
you know. Very hard one. But it's very hard. I know it. So it's just a dream.
No, but I think it
That
just
will transition to reality, soon.
And also just, I think, recognizing that that is what you want to do is already a step towards looking for that, as you said, when you
Yeah,
watch
well, but
movies and stuff.
the acting as such has a lot of competition and a lot
Right.
of people, and there is no scrutiny for merit. There
Mm,
isn't. There is no, okay, she's a good performer, I want to cast her. No, it doesn't go by that. They'll go, casting happens on the basis of your network, casting happens on the basis of your social media following, casting happens on the basis of how much money you can bring if you're in that film.
got it.
Because at the end of the day, everything is a business.
Yeah.
So I think casting rarely happens based on performances. It's a gamble. Like the producer has to decide, okay, if I put 1 lakh on this girl, will I get 10 lakhs?
Mm,
That's how the producer will think.
right.
So it's a gamble. So somebody else has to trust you and put money on your skills. That I'm telling the universe, let's see.
Yeah, we all are manifesting with you, mom.
Thank you.
Definitely.
So what do you guys want to be, if I'm allowed to ask?
Please, I mean, Harini, do you want to go first?
Right, sure. So I'm aspiring to be a data scientist.
Ah,
I'm like intrigued by AI and healthcare, bridging the two fields, and that's where I want to go. But then I have this other side as well, which is writing. I really love writing. So yeah, something that
creative
deals,
writing.
right. Yeah, creative writing.
Wonderful. Very nice.
And I want to actually study political science, but later get into more journalism and also like some like elements of citizen partisanship, because, and especially with regards to the youth, because that's like one
Regards to the,
niche
sorry,
with
I couldn't hear that.
with regards to the youth.
Youth. Got it.
So
Hmm.
youth citizen partisan not partisanship, no, we don't need that. Participation, so developing, like, using journalism to do that later on. That's what I.
Wonderful. Very brave.
Yeah,
Very
I
brave.
get that a lot, but
It's a good thing. I think we need a lot of brave girls in this world. We do. You know.
I know. Thank you. I mean, I think I've really got a lot of inspiration from you, and it
Definitely.
really made me also look at dance very differently, because as I said earlier, I'm a Kathak dancer, and I only now realize that, yeah, the patriarchy is so ingrained even in Kathak,
Of course,
and
all the
it's
classical
just,
dance forms have
yeah.
it. Everything. Kathak full all nazakat only all the time.
Yeah, and the
Ella
guts
adate.
and all, you have to walk away from Krishna, and then like he'll pull your hand. I'm like, no, this is not
Yeah,
consent.
that nutcut. Oh, it's nice. See, it's
Yeah.
nice because you can't do it on the road. You cannot do that.
Right.
So it's nice to do it in dance. You feel like,
Mm,
okay, I'm exploring that.
right.
But you want to explore other things also. Right. And the only option that women have is to be Durga, like extreme.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
No,
either
there's no
this or
middle.
that. Madhya enu illa.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm looking at, and you should also understand most of the poetry that we perform are written by men.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
very little women's poetry that is performed. So I think all of us collectively should work towards that, like finding poetry which are voices of women, and then giving more voice to that through our bodies.
Yeah, definitely.
Change the way, even if you want to keep Krishna, just change the way you're talking to Krishna. Like change it. It's
Mm.
fine.
Yeah, stand up to Krishna. Tell him you don't want to give him butter.
Yeah, or you can just say, I want a break today.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, please. Saku, today enough. I'm a little bored. Same things you're doing.
Can
Are
you play
these
your
fruits
flute
again? Can you
later?
do something else? I don't know. I'm just saying randomly.
Yeah.
And art allows you to do that. So you
Hmm.
can have the same Krishna in your pieces, but just look at making it your voice. Don't take somebody else's voice and then force like
Yourself into it.
Hmm.
yeah into that.
Yeah, I think I've also learned so much from this conversation. Honestly, ma'am, thank you so much for
No problem.
coming
I
and
had
being
a
with
lot of
us.
fun. I hope you guys find the right people in your journey and you guys never back down. Okay? Stay
Thank you,
strong
ma'am.
and keep going on.
Yes, ma'am. We'll martial arts in the mind.
Yes, absolutely. Never give up.
Right.
uh,
Okay.
but thank you so much, ma'am. And I think with this we can kind of bring this first episode to a close. I think it was an absolute banger. Um,
Absolutely.
and it's going to be up on our page. So if you couldn't attend live, please go ahead and listen to the whole thing. Probably listen to it twice, thrice, because
There's a
um,
lot of information here,
yeah,
and the energy is just so high. And yeah, it was actually a wonderful start to this series.
Thank you. I had a lot of
yeah.
fun. And in case any of you want to have a conversation, I'm always reachable at Instagram, my email, my Facebook, anywhere.
Definitely.
Thank you
We'll
so
link all
much.
of those socials in the description as well
Yes,
as on our
Yes.
page.
And I'm available for all of you anytime.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you so much,
All
ma'am.
Thank you for
right.
your time and
So
all the
yeah,
information
so
and insights that you gave us. Thank you so much.
yes,
Thank
so
you.
thank you everyone for joining Pro Insight episode 1, and this is the Teen Tribune signing off. Please check out our issue that just got uploaded today. It's themed on Children's Day, so quite apt also, ma'am,
Yes.
to have you as
On
our guest.
Children's Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nice. All
So
right. Chalo.
thank you.
definitely. The comments are blowing up. They're really, positive, and please
Yeah,
go
everyone
ahead.
loves you. I mean, ma'am, your personality, it's
Absolutely. Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. I also like today's conversation. I'm looking at girls like both of you and people like you. We need a lot of people like you because we have to become a community right now and we shall be the change.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Definitely.
Chalo.
On
We'll
that
stay in
note,
touch.
Yes.
Bye. Bye,
Bye,
all
bye.
of you who
everyone.
joined the conversation, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Bye.
Sunday, everyone.